What if the life you want isn't something you find, but something you build, starting with yourself? Most people think success comes from getting a lucky break, knowing the right people, or working nonstop. But the truth is, real success comes from becoming the kind of person who's ready to receive it. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Rebuilding your life for success means going deep. It means letting go of the parts of you that are rooted in fear, doubt, and past failure. It means shifting your mindset, upgrading your habits, and reshaping the identity you carry every single day. It's not easy, but it is powerful. And it's something anyone can do if they're willing to start. In this video, we're going to walk through the full transformation process. First, letting go of the old you that no longer serves your vision. Then rewiring your mind for growth and possibility. Next, creating daily habits that build momentum and consistency. And finally, becoming the architect of your future by designing a life that aligns with who you truly want to be. If you're ready to stop surviving and start creating, this is your blueprint. The rebuild starts now. Number 1, building habits that support success. Now that your mindset is being rewired for growth, it's time to move from theory to structure, from intention to execution. This is the part where transformation becomes tangible. Because no matter how motivated or inspired you are, if your daily actions don't align with your new identity, you'll end up back where you started. Real change requires systems, habits that support the person you're becoming, not the version you've left behind. This isn't about hustling harder or cramming more into your day. It's about designing your life with intention, one decision at a time. Habits are powerful, not because they're flashy, but because they're consistent. They are the invisible architecture of success, the unseen patterns behind every high achiever. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So the question is, are your systems helping you rise or silently pulling you back down? Let's get real. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll wake up feeling invincible, and other days you'll want to quit. That's why habits matter more than hype. Systems take the pressure off willpower. When you create habits that run on autopilot, success stops being a struggle and starts being inevitable. It begins with clarity. You must know who you want to become, not just what you want to do, but who you are becoming. Once you define that, reverse engineer your habits around it. If you want to be healthy, your system isn't just go to the gym. It's meal prepping, scheduling workouts, getting enough sleep, managing stress. If you want to grow a business, your system is setting time blocks, refining your offer, studying your market, showing up daily, even when no one is watching. Success is built in the boring, what you do when no one's clapping. Let go of the idea that progress needs to be dramatic. It's the small, consistent choices that create seismic shifts over time. A single push-up won't transform your body, but doing it every day for 6 months will. Writing a few lines a day won't finish a novel in a week, but it will finish one eventually. This is the compound effect, the principle that small disciplines repeated over time yield massive results. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. Build for the long game. Start small. Create habits so simple you can't fail. Instead of trying to meditate for 30 minutes a day, start with 3 minutes. Instead of reading a book a week, commit to 5 pages a day. Stack your new habits onto existing ones. This is called habit stacking, pairing a new behavior with a current one. After you brush your teeth, say your affirmations. After your morning coffee, review your goals. This makes the new behavior easier to remember and integrate, and make it satisfying. Reward yourself when you stay consistent. Celebrate small wins. Your brain loves dopamine. Give it a reason to crave progress. Beyond personal habits, you also need environmental systems, because your surroundings shape your behavior more than you realize. If your phone is the first thing you see in the morning, distraction is inevitable. But if your journal or goal list is next to your bed, intention becomes your default. If junk food is in the fridge, you'll eat it. If your workout clothes are laid out the night before, you're more likely to move. Your environment should reflect your priorities. Eliminate friction between you and your goals. Make the good stuff easy and the distractions hard to reach. Systems also include time, how you structure your days. Time management isn't just about productivity. It's about protecting your energy for what matters. Use time blocks. Schedule deep work. Set boundaries. Don't just fill your calendar, design it. Give every minute a job, or it will be wasted. Focus doesn't just happen. It's earned through discipline. One of the most powerful systems you can create is a morning routine, a sacred space to ground your mind and set the tone for the day. Your morning should be yours, not the world's. No notifications, no noise, just clarity, intention, and movement. Even 30 minutes can change everything. Move your body, feed your mind, speak life over your goals. Don't rush into the chaos. Build your armor first. Success isn't a surprise when your day starts with power. But just as important as building routines is building resilience into your system. Life won't always go as planned. You'll get sick. You'll miss a day. You'll fall off. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The key isn't perfection. It's recovery. Have a plan for when you mess up. Miss a workout. Get back on track the next day. Eat junk food. Make your next meal count. Life is about rhythm, not rigidity. Give yourself grace, but stay grounded in your vision. And finally, track your progress. You can't improve what you don't measure. Keep a journal. Reflect weekly. Ask what worked, what didn't, what can I do better. Tracking isn't just for accountability, it's for celebration. It reminds you that even when it feels slow, you're moving, you're evolving, you're becoming. And that's the whole point of rebuilding, to align your habits with the person you're stepping into. You don't need a perfect plan, you need a repeatable process. Because when your habits match your vision, success stops being something you chase and starts being something you live. And it all begins with building systems that support your next level. Number 2, rewiring your mindset for growth. Once you've begun the process of letting go of the old you, the next step is to rewire your mindset for growth. This is where real change starts to take root. If letting go is the demolition phase, rewiring is the blueprint for rebuilding. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. And if that lens is scratched with fear, doubt, or scarcity, then no matter how hard you try, you'll always feel stuck. Rewiring your mind means deliberately shifting the way you think on purpose every single day. The first step is recognizing the invisible program running in the background of your life. Most of us operate with outdated scripts we didn't even write. Things we picked up from our parents, teachers, media, and culture. Messages like money is evil, play it safe, people can't change, or I'm not enough. These scripts don't just live in your mind, they shape your choices, your confidence, and your future. But here's the truth. Beliefs are not facts. They're just thoughts you've repeated enough times that your brain accepted them as reality. The good news, you can overwrite them. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is plastic. It can form new pathways, even in adulthood. You are not stuck. You are moldable. But you must be intentional. You must choose new thoughts and practice them until they become your new normal. This is where affirmations come in. Not fluffy quotes, but focused, empowering statements that align with your vision. When you say, I am capable, I create my own success, or I deserve abundance, you're not just speaking into the air, you're training your mind to see possibilities instead of limitations. It may feel fake at first. That's okay. You've spent years believing the opposite, but consistency creates belief. Say it, write it, embody it, until it feels like truth. Rewiring your mindset also means being mindful of what you feed your brain. Your environment is shaping you more than you realize. The people you hang around, the content you consume, the conversations you entertain, they all reinforce your belief system. If you want to grow, you have to immerse yourself in growth. Read books that challenge you. Listen to voices that empower you. Surround yourself with people who push you to be better, not people who are comfortable keeping you the same. Your mind will rise or shrink to the level of your environment. Make it one that supports your evolution. Growth mindset is about more than positivity. It's about believing in the possibility of change. It's understanding that failure isn't a dead end. It's data, that challenges aren't roadblocks. They're training grounds. When you hit a wall, your old mindset says, this is too hard, I'm not meant for this. Your new mindset says, this is where I grow stronger. The difference between stuck and unstoppable is how you interpret adversity. Do you see it as punishment or preparation? This is the internal shift that changes everything. One of the most powerful tools in mindset rewiring is visualization. When you can see your future clearly in your mind, your brain starts working to close the gap between now and then. Athletes use this, performers use this, visionaries use this. They visualize themselves winning before they ever step on the field. You can too. Take 5 minutes a day and see your future self. How you walk, how you speak, how you handle challenges. Feel it, live it in your imagination. Your brain doesn't know the difference between real and vividly imagined. It just knows repetition. Over time, you'll start to become the person you've been seeing all along. Another key aspect of mindset rewiring is reframing. Life doesn't always go to plan, but you get to decide what it means. Instead of saying, I failed, say I learned. Instead of, nothing ever works out for me, say, every setback is setting me up for something greater. This isn't denial, it's choice. It's choosing a perspective that serves your growth instead of stalling it. Mindset isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about having the strength to keep moving even when it's not. Daily habits are the glue that hold all of this together. You can't think your way into a new life without also acting like the person you want to become. Rewiring your mindset means rewiring your routines. Wake up earlier, move your body, set clear goals, practice gratitude, track your progress. Stay disciplined when motivation fades. These small habits compound into massive change over time. Your mind is a garden. What you plant and water daily will grow. If you keep sowing seeds of fear and doubt, that's what will bloom. But if you plant seeds of growth, belief, and courage, your entire world will begin to transform. Rewiring isn't instant, it's messy. Some days you'll feel powerful, other days you'll slip into old patterns. That's part of it. Progress isn't linear, it's a climb. But every time you catch yourself falling into a limiting belief and consciously choose a new one, you're rewiring. Every time you speak life over yourself instead of doubt, you're rewiring. Every time you show up for your future self, even when it's hard, you're rewiring. You're not just changing how you think, you're building the foundation for the life you've always wanted, and that begins in the mind. Your reality is a reflection of your internal world. Change the way you think, and everything else will follow. Number 3, letting go of the old you. Before you can rebuild yourself for success, you must first be willing to let go of the version of yourself that's been holding you back. This is the part most people avoid, but it's the most powerful step in any transformation. Think about it. How can you create something new if you're still clinging to the old? We all carry habits, thought patterns, beliefs, and emotional baggage from past experiences. Some of it was passed down to us. Some of it was born from trauma, rejection, failure, or fear. But no matter how it got there, it's shaping how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And if we don't take the time to examine what we're carrying, we end up living the same life, repeating the same patterns, and wondering why things never change. Letting go doesn't mean erasing your past. It means no longer allowing your past to define who you are today. It means being honest with yourself about what's no longer serving your growth. This could be toxic relationships that drain your energy, a job that limits your potential, or even the self-image you've built around struggle, fear, or failure. Maybe you've told yourself, I'm just not good with money, or I always give up, or people like me don't succeed. These aren't facts. They're beliefs, and beliefs can be broken. Letting go starts with awareness. You have to be willing to step outside yourself and observe your patterns without judgment. Ask yourself, what are the thoughts I repeat the most? What triggers me? What am I avoiding because it makes me uncomfortable? What part of my life feels misaligned with the future I want? These questions create cracks in the wall of your old identity, and that's where the light gets in. The truth is, most people fear change, not because they don't want something better, but because their identity is tied to the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. The brain seeks certainty, and even toxic habits can feel safe if they've been part of your life long enough. That's why rebuilding yourself begins with courage. The courage to let go of who you think you are, so you can become who you were meant to be. This isn't about waking up one day and suddenly being a new person. It's about shedding layer after layer of the false self. The one that was shaped by fear, The one that adapted to survive but forgot how to thrive. The one that settled for comfort because chasing greatness felt too risky. Sometimes you have to grieve the old you before you can welcome the new. It's painful to say goodbye to parts of yourself, even if you know they've been holding you back. But that grief is part of the rebirth. It clears space for something better. To let go effectively, you have to get still. Silence the noise, create space for reflection. Silence the noise, create space for reflection. This could mean journaling, meditating, walking in nature, or simply sitting with your thoughts without distraction. Most people are so busy numbing, scrolling, or distracting that they never give themselves the chance to reconnect with who they are underneath it all. Don't be afraid to face the truth. Don't be afraid to admit that some things in your life are broken, because you can't rebuild what you're unwilling to admit needs to change. The most powerful transformation starts when you say, I refuse to live this way any longer. Maybe it's your health, your mindset, your relationships, or your career. But whatever it is, that moment of radical honesty is the moment your new life begins. Letting go also means forgiving yourself for the mistakes you've made, for the times you let fear control you, for the opportunities you missed. You cannot rebuild from shame. You can only rebuild from acceptance. So give yourself permission to be human, to fall down, to break, to fail, and to start again. Every great success story is also a story of reinvention. And that reinvention always begins with release. You cannot become your next level if you're still loyal to your old limitations. It's time to take inventory of your life. Write it out. What habits are holding you back? What relationships are draining your energy? What stories are you telling yourself that keep you stuck? Be brutally honest. And then just as boldly, decide what you're no longer available for. Say it out loud. I am no longer available for self-doubt. I am no longer available for playing small. I am no longer available for relationships that make me shrink. I am no longer available for habits that sabotage my future. Let go, not with resistance, but with love. Thank your old self for getting you this far. And then begin the process of stepping into a new chapter, a new identity. One built not from fear, but from vision. This is the foundation of rebuilding yourself for success, knowing that in order to become something greater, you have to be willing to burn the bridges that lead back to who you used to be. Number 4, becoming the architect of your future. Now that we've explored the mindset, the identity shift, and the habits that create lasting success, it's time to ground all of it in something real. Real people, real struggles, and real transformations. Because rebuilding yourself isn't some abstract concept reserved for a chosen few. It's something anyone can do, regardless of where they're starting from. The most inspiring success stories often begin in rock-bottom moments, when someone lost everything, felt stuck, or had no idea how to move forward. But in those moments of uncertainty and pain, something incredible happened. They made a decision to rise, to not stay down, to take one small step forward. That's where rebuilding begins. Think about the person who hit financial rock bottom. They were buried in debt, had no job prospects, and felt the crushing weight of failure. But instead of surrendering, they chose to learn. They picked up books, listened to podcasts, took online courses. They worked part-time jobs while building a side hustle late at night. They tracked every dollar. Over time, they rebuilt their life, and not just financially. They rebuilt their confidence, their discipline, their sense of purpose. Today, they not only have wealth, but wisdom. Their breakdown became their breakthrough. Or picture the person who went through heartbreak, maybe a divorce or a betrayal that shattered their sense of identity. They felt lost, like they didn't even recognize themselves. But instead of closing off or giving up, they began the slow, painful work of healing. They journaled, they went to therapy, they leaned into solitude, and started rebuilding from within. They rediscovered who they were outside of that relationship and what they truly wanted out of life. Eventually, they didn't just move on, they leveled up, stronger, clearer, wiser. They used pain as the raw material for growth. These stories are everywhere. People who overcame addiction, who battled chronic self-doubt, who lost jobs, faced rejection, or failed over and over. What separates those who rise from those who stay stuck isn't luck or talent. It's the willingness to rebuild brick by brick. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They didn't let shame define them. They took ownership. They understood that rebuilding is not about fixing the old, it's about becoming something new. These people didn't just bounce back, they bounced forward. They didn't return to who they were, they created who they needed to become. And that's the deeper power of rebuilding. It's not about going back. Number 4, becoming the architect of your future. Now that we've explored the mindset, the identity shift, and the habits that create lasting success, it's time to ground all of it in something real. Real people, real struggles, and real transformations. Because rebuilding yourself isn't some abstract concept reserved for a chosen few. It's something anyone can do, regardless of where they're starting from. The most inspiring success stories often begin in rock-bottom moments when someone lost everything, felt stuck, or had no idea how to move forward. But in those moments of uncertainty and pain, something incredible happened. They made a decision to rise, to not stay down, to take one small step forward. That's where rebuilding begins. Think about the person who hit financial rock bottom. They were buried in debt, had no job prospects, and felt the crushing weight of failure. But instead of surrendering, they chose to learn. They picked up books, listened to podcasts, took online courses. They worked part-time jobs while building a side hustle late at night. They tracked every dollar. Over time, they rebuilt their life, and not just financially. They rebuilt their confidence, their discipline, their sense of purpose. Today, they not only have wealth, but wisdom. Their breakdown became their breakthrough. Or picture the person who went through heartbreak, maybe a divorce or a betrayal that shattered their sense of identity. They felt lost, like they didn't even recognize themselves. But instead of closing off or giving up, they began the slow, painful work of healing. They journaled, they went to therapy, they leaned into solitude and started rebuilding from within. They rediscovered who they were outside of that relationship and what they truly wanted out of life. Eventually, they didn't just move on, they leveled up, stronger, clearer, wiser. They used pain as the raw material for growth. These stories are everywhere. People who overcame addiction, who battled chronic self-doubt, who lost jobs, faced rejection, or failed over and over. What separates those who rise from those who stay stuck isn't luck or talent. It's the willingness to rebuild brick by brick. They didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They didn't let shame define them. They took ownership. They understood that rebuilding is not about fixing the old, it's about becoming something new. These people didn't just bounce back, they bounced forward. They didn't return to who they were, they created who they needed to become. And that's the deeper power of rebuilding. It's not about going back. Rebuilding yourself for success isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily commitment. It's about realizing that you are not defined by where you came from, your past failures, your pain, or even your current limitations. You are defined by who you decide to become next. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the truth that your thoughts shape your reality. Your identity determines your actions. Your habits build your foundation, and your story is far from over. You are never too broken to begin again, never too far gone to rise. You've just walked through the blueprint for transformation. Letting go of the old version of yourself, rewiring your mindset for growth, building habits that fuel success, and stepping into the role of architect for your own future. But here's the truth. This isn't just a checklist you complete once. It's a lifelong journey. Rebuilding yourself is about choosing every single day to align with the person you're becoming, instead of staying chained to who you used to be. It's about progress, not perfection. So now it's your turn. Commit to one powerful change today. Ask yourself, what's one part of the old you're ready to leave behind? Maybe it's a limiting belief, a destructive habit, or a fear that's kept you stuck for far too long. Let it go. Drop it in the comments and declare your transformation publicly. And if this message resonated, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your journey with someone who's ready to grow with you. Because you weren't born to stay stuck. You weren't made to settle. You were born to evolve. And this moment, right here, right now, is your chance to rise. Start today. Rebuild yourself and become the person your future is waiting for.